Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and something hilarious has arisen in MTG Arena this weekend. There's a wonderful event called the Historic Shakeup event. It's like Standard Shakeup, but just historic, and that's a shame because I would have preferred a Standard Shakeup, but whatever. And what's the Shakeup part, you might ask? Well, it's basically just a really thinly veiled shot at Wizards of the Coast by the people who work on the Arena team. They actually didn't even put a description this time, but if I were to go way back to the first time they rolled it out, to paraphrase, it was basically, what if the top decks didn't exist? What if you were actually able to play something else than a bunch of broken garbage? And so what they do is they have like a ban list that's just for the event. And usually it's, 8 cards or whatever, and it just kind of cuts the knees off of tier 1 and you get to play just tier 2, which you guys know just mathematically, if there's like 8 tier 1 decks, there's like 20 tier 2 decks. That's just how mathematical combinations of cards that can be played together will arrange themselves in consideration with power. It's a very elaborate probability calculation, but that's just how it works. Take my word for it. I tried to explain it in one vid and it didn't go over well. Let's just say not a lot of y'all are that into deep math. Now, Historic is literally just standard with like 3 sets added. It goes back to like Ixalan, so I think it's like Ixalan, the other Pirate Merfolk set, and Dominaria, I think. I might be missing one, but I mean, it's not Pioneer, where Pioneer goes all the way back to what, like RTR? So this is just standard with more bullshit added. It's the same tier 1 crap, except also people play Merfolk Tribal, like whatever. I like to refer to Historic as standard, but worse. It's standard tier 1 with a couple even more powerful cards added. Wow, what a great benefit to humanity this format is. So the thing I wanted to point out in this video is the ban list. Oh my gosh. Take whatever you think might be on the ban list and then add like 25 cards to it. They almost couldn't fit it on the screen. So I present to you the Historic Shakeup ban list, the list of cards that you're not allowed to play. All cards with companion. Benalish Marshal, Elspeth Conquers Death, Heliod Suncrowned, Soul Warden, Agent of Treachery, Curious Obsession, Merfolk Trickster, Thassa Deep Dwelling, Grey Merchant of Asphodel, the only black card actually, Bone Crusher Giant, Embercleave, Goblin Chainwhirler, Fires of Invention, Rampaging Ferocidon, Underworld Breach, Jade Light Ranger, Llanowar Elves, Nissa Shaganette Ass, Teferi Time Raveler, Thought Erasure, Burning Tree Emissary, Winota Joiner of Forces, really, Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath, Mox Amber, and Field of the Dead. Okay, first of all cards with companion. I'm shocked. Benalish Marshal, I mean a universal +1/+1, like, did we really need that in Historic? White's a little powerful in Historic, I don't know if you noticed. So Elspeth Conquers Death, I always felt like the resurrection on that is a little much. Honestly, the removal is pretty nuts too, because it's 3 or greater. Then you got Soul Warden and Heliod, because literally, like, White Life Gain is the deck in Historic. It dominates, it's what I play. So they added Agent of Treachery to the list, strangely with the wrong font spacing. That was weird. It's the only one that's not correctly aligned to the left. Very odd. But it was already banned in Historic, but they put it on the list because it is a banned card in Historic Shakeup, like indirectly or whatever. Then we got Curious Obsession. I'm just sick of that damn card. And honestly, Merfolk Tribal with Curious Obsession was so flippin' annoying. So then we've got, Merfolk Trickster, because that card is ass cancer and the entire Merfolk deck is ass cancer. Why would we want to bring it back? And all it did was get worse when you mix it in with Historic. Then we got Thassa Deep Dwelling. I am so sick of that freaking flicker effect, the fact that you can't even interact with it as a creature half the time anyway, and it's indestructible even if it was. They need to ban that from standard. And then, shocker, you open it up to like 3 more sets, Black Devotion gets broken to shit, so then you got Grey Merchant of Asphodel ruining everything, so bye-bye to him, just like the last time he was printed in regular Theros. Bone Crusher Giant is just the most powerful, like, removal / backlash if you remove it / hit hard creature. It's just your all-in-one, wonder card for red, so he's gone. Embercleave, do I even need to explain it? People still want that banned. Goblin Chainwhirler, the #1 most called for banned card from like a year and a half ago. They are finally banning it from something. Then we've got Fires of Invention, which I believe was the other card that was already banned anyway. Then we got Rampaging Ferocidon. Now, if you remember, that card was banned from Standard. And as much as they're, removing Soul Warden and Heliod to get, rid of a little bit of the power level of White Devotion, or, well, not even really Devotion, but like just White Life Gain triggers, or White-Black Life Gain triggers, they're also banning Rampaging Ferocidon, which says players can't gain life, because it's just that oppressive. If you want to do it, you're going to have to play the Planeswalker version of it. So it's still an option, it's just this card went too far. I 100% absolutely agree. Then we've got Underworld Breach. I mean, another historic anthology card where then they run a historic shakeup event and ban it. Underworld Breach was, I think, fairly recently banned from Legacy because it's just such broken shit. It's not really quite free casting, but there's some cards that work with this that are a little broken, and I guess they found that to be a little bit too much for historic. I'm a little bit surprised, but not that surprised. Then we got Jadelight Ranger, which honestly probably should have been banned from Standard when it was in Standard. It was by far the most powerful card that had Explorer because it was a double trigger. And this card hit like $15-20. I mean, it was just out of control. Explorer decks got absolutely nuts. They just got worse and worse and worse over time as more sets were added. And yeah, they probably should have banned Jadelight. Now, the banning of Llanowar Elves is shocking, but I guess right now in Standard, let alone Historic, green ramp is nuts. I mean, green-blue ramp, or mono-green ramp, or mono-green semi-ramp with proliferate counters. It's all up there in the tier 1 category, so, I could see them just saying we're going to get rid of the easiest mana dork. Because the decks that run the 2-cost ones are already too good. So, I mean, there you go. And then on top of it, Nisu Shakes the World, just doubles your mana output. Yeah, you honestly shouldn't allow that in Standard, let alone Historic. So she's gone. Plus that Land Rush is just bullshit. We're all sick of that. Then Teferi Time Raveler. I'm not even going to talk about it. Yeah, fuck card. Obviously, it should be removed from everything. It should be illegal to own that card. It should be a felony. Then we've got Thought Erasure because every single last player is sick to their ass of getting their hand disrupted on turn 2, okay? Screw all hand discard effects that let them reveal your whole hand and then pick one, okay? If you want to run Mind Rot, we'll run Mind Rot. But this whole, I'm going to look at your hand on turn 1 or 2. Screw you! And then, I'm going to take your key card and get rid of it because you don't get to play your deck now. Yeah, screw Thought Erasure. At one point, along the whole War of the Spark timeline here, it was pretty much the most hated card in Standard. Burning Tree Emissary. When this thing was first legal, when I first started playing, I hated it. It was in Gatecrash, and every time somehow somebody would have 2 or 3 or 4 of these in their first couple cards of their opening hand. It's almost like they're stacking cards or something. I suspect that they banned this just because the Shuffler in Arena provably, over millions of games this was tracked, provably groups cards together. They proved this. This is not a conspiracy theory or rumor. They proved this by tracking over 1 million games that cards with the same name are drawn more after they're already in your hand. They proved it. The exact numbers are public knowledge. This was posted all over Reddit. How did you miss this? All the dumbass pros and Twitch streamers are like, that's a myth. People just feel like that happens and it's just human. No, they tracked it over 1 million games. It is a fact. That's why I suspect that's the sole reason that this piece of shit was banned. It's basically a free card. It does absolutely nothing, and it's a human shaman. Who the hell is playing that? But still, I've seen people plop down 3 of these in a row, and I'm like, well, that's nice on turn 2. Thanks for that. Maybe this was a Gruul Riot thing. Ironically, it was actually a Gruul card in Gatecrash. I don't really know what's wrong with this, other than I personally hate the card, and the Shuffler will group these up like you wouldn't believe. So, who knows? Unlike full ban announcements, they do not say what the reasoning was behind any of these. You just gotta guess, and some of them are terrifically transparent. Then we got Winota because she's a free casting broken. Not a lot of mystery to that one, guys. Then we've got Uro because that whole control heavy loop Uro thing, I'm just absolutely sick of that bullshit. So is everybody else. The card advantage, the giant thing, the fact that Hushbringer not only doesn't stop it, but actually helps it. Yeah, that card, it's $30. I mean, what else do I have to tell you about why it's banned? It's $30. And then Mox Amber. Ooh, one of the Star Dominaria cards. Yep. It's a 0-drop that makes mana. I mean, what else do I need to tell you? But I guess just when people play from a bigger pool, there's going to be more legendaries. I don't know. I doubt, since it was so dead on arrival in Dominaria, that anybody today in Historic is playing legendary as a mechanic. I could be wrong. I think just too many decks by sheer coincidence were running too many legendaries that this became too quick and early and consistent of mana for those decks specifically. But I'm guessing. I have no idea. And then finally, Field of the Dead. This is the biggest middle finger F you to the normal core standard R&D staff, signed sincerely the arena management staff, who are a lot newer to the company and a hell of a lot smarter than the people who work in the core Magic the Gathering standard, staff. They banned, oh pardon me, suspended Field of the Dead along with 2 other cards, and then left those banned permanently and then brought this back because just the benefit to the game of having Field of the Dead was just too high. They couldn't let it go. That is the most idiotic, uncalled for, incorrect mistake of an unbanning I have ever seen in the history of the game. Even Stoneforge Mystic doesn't come close to the stupidity of letting Field of the Dead back into Historic. It is a terribly, inherently broken, unstoppable card. They added, I think, into Historic Anthology 2 a couple land destruction and then said, well, I guess Field of the Dead is good now. How about you don't have to put in that, nobody has to run those cards, and then you don't unban Field of the Dead. And then nobody has to worry about it and people can just build whatever the hell they want. What a concept. Oh, don't worry, guys. We printed the cure for this broken card, so we're going to unban the broken card. That makes sense. That makes all the sense. Thanks, Wizards. We don't need answers. We need you to stop printing this bullshit in the first place. And then when you do suspend it / ban it, leave it banned. They are just so clueless at that company. With like 2,400 cards to choose from in Historic. We have to have Field of the Dead back. What if somebody isn't able to play the Field of the Dead Control-a-thon shit deck? Out of the, 100 decks you could possibly play, what if we lost access to that one deck? That would just be tragic. We have to unban Field of the Dead immediately, everybody. What even went through their heads? So at least the arena staff seems to, get player reports, they get the statistics, they get the early forfeit numbers, they get the sad face versus happy face, survey results, and they actually interpret them right. They know what cards equal sad face from the players. And before they implemented that survey system, I got the impression that they could tell just by looking at the cards which cards were unpopular and broken and unfair. I don't think they even needed to look at the server game win or loss statistics or deck diversity statistics to just look at a card and be like, people hate this is broken. They are so much smarter and at the same time like intelligent and wiser at making game decisions than anybody else working at Wizards of the Coast. They should just fire the rest of them and let the arena team take over. They just came in and they're like, historic shakeup. We're gonna take all the mistakes made by those dumbasses at the other branch of the company. We're gonna fix them temporarily for you for the weekend. Have fun. And if you're wondering, they banned 35 cards. That is the total count on that list. 35. Wait a minute, that number sounds familiar. How many cards did Desolator say were currently broken that he wanted gone? Oh my gosh, it was 35 to the number on the dot. Well, what the do you know? That's how many they got rid of. What a fucking coincidence. So anyway, this is completely free to enter. You get 1,000 XP on your Mastery Pass, whether you have the paid one or the free one. And yeah, I mean, you could just play anything. I played my standard deck. Everybody goes into playing a standard deck. I mean, I'd love to build a historic deck and, take one of my decks and just upgrade it a little bit with 3 extra, sets for the card pools. But I mean, unless you want to keep playing it, which, I mean, why wouldn't you? Look at the ban list. I'll play it all damn weekend. But even whether you do that or not, it's like a 2 or 3 day event and then it's gone. I'm not going to build a deck for 3 days. I'm going to build a deck for 3 months, like in Standard Constructed. I just can't find the time to play test a deck, which usually takes a day and a half, 2 days to finalize a perfect deck and get it down. And then, oh, well, the event's over. And then I have to remember what cards were in Ixalan and re-review everything and second guess everything and then redo the ratios, redo the the probability estimates of the curve versus the mana and then fix the mana based on old mana lands. And it's just so much work for some temporary stupid thing. That's my only beef with this historic shakeup event. But now that historic is permanently in the queue, it makes sense, except that probably any historic deck you have got nuked by one of these 35 temporary card bans. So you probably won't even be able to take your historic deck into this event, and depending upon how gutted it is, you might not be able to make a version 2 of it that still functions with some of these cards gone, you know what I mean? So you'd literally have to go out of your way to make a historic shake-up deck, which is a pain in the ass. Now, if they ran this event for 2 weeks, hell yeah, I'd probably build 2 decks, make 2 videos on them. I mean, are you kidding me? But with this short-term thing, I can't do it. It's a shame. They really need to run this longer. Hell, make it a permanent format. If Historic Shakeup and Standard Shakeup were permanent formats, so many people would abandon Standard Constructed for this, but I bet it would just make the normal staff at Wizards of the Coast just livid. They'd be like, hey, we're going to do this new thing called Shake Up, and it's standard without all the broken shit that everybody hates. Do you want to maybe come play it? And then boom, like 90% of people played that permanently exclusively. You know that's what would happen. Look at the last survey. 74% of people said that they think Standard is overpowered right now and they don't want to play it. So bare minimum, 74% of players are coming over to play it. And you know what? That included that the number that said, no, it's just fine right now. Almost every comment by one of those people were, I don't play Standard, thanks for printing broken shit for my Commander deck. So they obviously don't play Arena. Thus, 85 to 90, maybe 95% of people, if they were to make Shake Up a permanent format and just call it maybe like Standard Tier 2 or something, they would switch over to it and play it exclusively. They wouldn't even touch Standard Constructed. So it would be like, oh, well, the Arena staff is running this perfected version of Standard with a proper ban list, and then Wizards of the Coast in paper and MTGO are playing the broken, unbearable version. I feel like that might cause a little bit of friction at the company. I feel like this list was a little bit of an FU to the Wizard staff. And they absolutely deserve it. With the mismanagement and the approval of anything on this list, all this broken garbage, screw them. I don't care about their feelings. Clearly, neither does the Arena staff. Not much left to say. Go play this event. It is so much fun to finally play something with all of this garbage removed. It's actually enjoyable Magic for once, and like I said, I'm going to play it all weekend. I'm just going to keep throwing my standard decks into it, basically. Whatever standard deck is the closest, I'll take out the cards they don't want me to, swap them out, play it, there we go. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not going to build a historic specific deck. It's not going to happen. I get plenty of wins with my standard decks, so that's what I'm playing with. So anyway, thanks for watching. Check out this event. It is 100% free, and I will see you guys next video.